first season with the Celtics did not go as planned, missing Boston's deep run in the playoffs after having season-ending knee surgery. Entering the final guaranteed year of his contract, he has set his sights on raising banner number 18 for Boston, not in his long-term future with the team, telling The Undefeated when asked about that very topic, quote, "What I really want is to bring our team, all of us together, to a championship with us all being healthy. That's where my focus is. And when that time comes, I'll be ready to answer." Stephen A. Smith, what is Kyrie really saying here?
Well, what he's certainly not saying is not one, Max, not two, not three, not four, not 5 or 6 or 7. He's certainly not saying that like LeBron James did when he arrived in South Beach for the first time in that huge shindig that him, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh had in Miami. He's certainly not saying that. But what I do think, I don't take any offense to what he's saying. It's Kyrie. Kyrie basically is telling the world, if we were healthy, we'd at least be the Eastern Conference champions right now. And I don't think anybody is in a position to disagree with him. When he first departed from Cleveland, we thought they were going to be at least a year away. We said, no, they don't have enough for LeBron and the Cavs. They'll take them out this year, and then Boston will probably be there next year. And as the season progressed, we're like, wait a minute now. These brothers are on another level. This is no joke. These brothers ain't playing. They could do this now, and then Kyrie went down. And so I think when you look at it from that perspective, what he's saying is, had I been healthy, I believe we would have been in the finals this year. And my goal is, after watching these brothers, we got the potential to win it all. So my focus is on getting healthy to show that I could lead this team to a championship. And I think that's where the focus is, Max.
Look, first of all, he didn't say not 2, not 3, not 4. I love that you bring that up, Stephen A. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, when LeBron said not 2, not 3, not 4, in retrospect, it looked silly because it was harder than it looked, and he got 2.
That's right.
And he was lucky to get 2. He could have just wound up with 1. So
that's right.
You know, that second championship in Miami. So was that good for Kyrie, or can you flip that around, Stephen A., and say, Kyrie, when people are asking you about your future, you're talking about leading them to a championship, right? You didn't even say to win the championship. The way he phrased it made it sound like as long as he gets to the finals. So getting to one finals is now the goal? Even if you want to say that Kyrie is taking the right kind of take it one day at a time approach. Don't get too out in front of your skis, as LeBron did, saying not 2, not 3, not 4. Even if that's what you're saying, then I believe that Kyrie is actually saying that, to try to be responsible that way. It's really in that guise. But in fact, what he's saying is, I'm not staying in Boston. You know, when he refuses to address his long-term future as a Celtic, but instead diverts attention. It's kind of like misdirection. No, well, this is what I'm focused on now. Leading this team to a single championship round? Is that it? Now, that may be realistic. Maybe I'm reading too much into his phrasing and he meant to win a championship. But to me, Stephen A., it seems as though Kyrie does not have his focus on longer horizons with the Celtics. It sounds to me like he ain't planning on being there long term.
Well, listen, you know what? Whether he stays long-term or not, Max, I mean, here's the thing. To me, it's all about next year. Because to me, I think the value of Kyrie Irving will be determined. He's got to come back and he's got to show that he can get through a season healthy enough and that he's good and worth making that long-term investment in. It's not just about his game. It's about how healthy he appears to be and how he performs when healthy. And we all know how we believe he's going to perform when healthy. If Boston, for example, ends up in the finals next year, Max Kellerman, and Kyrie is balling out and he's a league MVP candidate or at least an all-star yet again because he's dropping 24 and 5 a game, all right, and he's healthy, Kyrie Irving is going to be the elite free agent on the market next season, unless Kevin Durant decides to show up there. That's the facts. So I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I have no problem taking 1 year at a time for him, considering that that's the premise.
But check this out, Stephen A. He's now going to be entering his age 26 season, right? And how often has he played even 80 games in a season? He's usually in the
Well,
50s
how many have done
or
that, though?
60s
How many have
or
done that,
low
though, Max?
70s.
But
Well,
most guys are
more
doing
than
that in this
Kyrie.
day and age. Well, wait a minute, Max. You know a
No.
lot of guys. You know this.
Kyrie's
There's a
missed-
lot of guys that's taking. There's a lot of guys, Max, that are healthy and still taking time off. DeMarcus Cousins was taking, not this past year, but remember when he was in Sacramento and he got
Yep.
rest the latter part of the season? Wasn't nothing wrong with him. And they weren't going to the playoffs, and he
Yes.
still took a break.
But in Kyrie's case, it's injury. It's not just taking a rest. It's that he's hurt frequently. And in this, and that would be one thing. You know, Stephen A., how I said earlier in the show, if it's just kind of a
Right.
general sense that a guy's injury prone, he pulls a hamstring, then something else happens, and it just feels like it's a lot of injury going on, that's one thing. But if it's a specific injury to a critical component of a guy's game, like in Kyrie Irving's case, giving his stopping, starting, changing directions, acceleration, his knee, that is real cause for concern, because now you have a guy who frequently is out of the lineup due to injury and now just suffered a catastrophic issue, whether we'll see if it turns out to be but potentially career-altering catastrophic injury. That's a whole other ball game. So I think there's real cause for concern there.
All right.
Yeah, obviously he knows
Okay.
it's a huge summer for him, for all of them next year, and could determine if he's there long term.